Hey guys, we're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at Cascadia. It's from Randy Flynn from AG Games here, and this is a game of the year from last year, I think it was. But it's a game where you're building a habitat for wild animals, and then there's random scoring based on the types of animals and how they're positioned according to in relation to other things. And I played this once at a convention last summer, and had a blast with it, and finally got myself my own copy. And we're going to get in and take a look. It's actually a pretty interesting game, and I didn't know Cascadia was actually based on a real place until I played the game, to be honest. First thing here we have is our book, and this is why it's way up on the British Columbia, I think it is, BC. It's Canada. Then we got Washington, Oregon, part of Idaho. I'm from the East Coast. I don't know anything about the West Coast. So that'd be why I didn't know. And over here we have a list of our components. Not a whole lot in here. Definitely a fun game though. Then we have our setup. You're going to use a different number of tokens based on the number of players. And this shows you the basic layout of how the board's going to be set up. Gameplay overview. A lot of examples in here. I will admit I did not learn how to play from the rule book. I'm terrible at that. I was actually taught this game by someone who had played it before. I have since looked things up and referenced the book to refresh myself because it has been a while, but it's all pretty straightforward. There are some questions when it comes to the scoring cards. They do have a section in here that kind of helps you out with them and talks a little bit about each one. And then they have an achievement tracker in the back here, which is kind of interesting. I've never actually done this, but it kind of gives you like a campaign type thing to shoot for. There's different objectives. Over here you got your different scenarios that you can try. I've never done any of this stuff in the back. There's your normal game achievements, which I'm sure I've achieved some of these. I've just never gone through and checked them off. And then they have a little section about the different animals and the different biomes. And no cheat sheet on the back though, which points off for that. So I've separated everything out in here, at least how I use it. So I have two bags. One is set up for solo play. I don't know which one. There's like a one difference, but separated these into two bags, and I can just quickly count and figure out which is which when I go to play solo. If you play multiple players, you just got to grab a handful and count them out. But those are all your actual biome tiles. You have your starting tiles here, and they each are different, so you can randomize which one of those you get to start your I guess it's a wildlife reserve. In here we have our scorecards. You have your ones for the bears, and these are all sleeved too, so they're going to be very shiny. For your hawks, for your salmon, for the elk, and for the foxes. And then there's a like a family variant scoring card. I've never actually played with that one. We have your scorecards. One of my friends actually took one of these, and they do it with all their games. They laminate it and then use a dry erase marker, and you can just wipe it off each time. That way you never have to worry about running out, but they give you quite a few there to last you a while. Next we have our bag with all of our animal tokens in here. And the animal tokens come on these nice colored tiles. My only complaint with them is that they're not double-sided, but it really doesn't matter. But you always end up drawing them face down. You got to flip them over. But there you can see our elk, foxes, bears, salmon, and hawks. And then finally we have the acorn tokens, which I'm not sure what they're actually called, but they're used for when you place a specific animal on a specific tile. There you get some of the tokens have these little triangles at the top, and when you put a fox on that tile, you're going to gain the token. And these can be used to mix and match what you pick up for the round, which I'll get to in a second. And that's it for there. The insert obviously isn't much. So the way the game works is that you're going to have one of each of these cards face up. They do have a easier variant. I think they have the family one here, but I think they also have one where it tells you to use just A's or something to start out. But you're randomly going to draw one of these cards, and they're going to show you how you're going to score. You're going to have one of these for each animal. So we're going to set these aside right now. And there are 5 different types of animals. You're going to have a set number of these tiles based on the number of players. And they're all going to be shuffled up either face down. We like to put ours in stacks just so they're not taking up space, but we'll put multiple stacks of these around the table. Easy reach of everybody. And you don't have to take from the one right in front of you if you don't want to. But and then each player will have a starting biome. So on here, this has one of everything, I think. So we've got a river biome here, we've got a meadow here, we've got a swampland here, we've got a forest here, and a mountain here. And then on the board, you're going to have 4 of these face up. And next to them, you're going to have 4 animals face up. Pretty straightforward. Each player is going to take turns drafting pretty much one of these sets. Now, if you have any of those acorn tokens, you don't have to take a set. You can take, say, the hawks here and then this up here. But without these acorns, you're going to have to take a pair. So you find out what you want. In this case, I think we'll go with the river with the meadow here and the salmon. So then we're going to place that somewhere in our biome. Ideally, you want to connect your habitats to make them expand. You get points at the end of the game for the largest of each, whoever has the largest of each of the biomes. So you're going to be looking at trying to match, like here we can match the meadow to the meadow, match the river to the river. You can spin it so the river turns. We're going to do river to river. Oddly enough, this river can't have salmon in it. So yeah, we may go with like that. And then we'll take our salmon. Only place we have on the board we can place our salmon is right there. If you can't place the animal that you take, it will get discarded back to the bag. On the next player's turn, or when it comes back around to you, there's going to be an open slot somewhere where somebody took something. You're going to draw a new animal and a new tile to fill those in before you take your turn. If at any point during the game there's 3 of the same animal out here, it's overpopulation, you get the option when there's 3 of wiping these out, drawing 3 new animals, putting them there, and then going on with your turn. If there's ever 4 of the same out here, then the entire thing gets wiped. You don't get a choice, and new animals will come out. Throughout the course of the game, you're going to be taking your various animals that you get, your various tiles that you get, and you're going to be building out their huge habitat. Like I said, ideally you want to keep like biomes together. You get bonuses for the largest one at the end of the game. keep in mind where you're placing your animals, as based on the scoring cards that are out. Where did I put those? Based on the scoring cards that are out, you're going to get points for your placement. So like in this case, you want herds of elk, so you want them all together. The more of them that are together, the more points you score. In this case, we placed an elk down here, which is one lone and one lone up there. We're not going to score for either of those. We get a whopping 2 points. If they were together, we would have got 4 points. Ends up being the same, but they get bigger as you go. There's also ones like this that score for groups. So in this case, you need at least 2 to get the 5 points. Every 3 would get you 8 points. 4 in a group would get you 13 points. So you want to keep these in mind. They don't have to be those exact shapes, but you need 2 together here, 3 together here, and so on. The other ones are like this, where you have a pair of foxes in the middle here, and then for every pair of other animals around them, you would score. So in this case, you got your 2 foxes in the middle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of those. So this would be an 11 pointer right there. Other foxes do not count on these. But everyone has these little subtle things that you can do with them. So in this case, you got your single fox here, and then every animal adjacent to it. So in this case, you've got multiple fish here. It could be any animal, but you're going to score based on how many are around each fox. Other foxes don't count again, and you can only count each fox once. You can only count each animal once for any of these. So if you count it in a group for one, it can't be counted in a group for another, and so on. Hawks are probably the easiest ones to score. But yeah, that's a quick overview of basically how it works. There's more in-depth how to plays out there if you want to know more. I just wanted to give a quick look at it. You build up some really cool looking things too by the end, and you've got your achievements in the back of the book there. You can try to check off as you go. I've got a couple of scorecards somewhere laying around for my solo games as I played. Yes, they're very crappy scoring ones. I was learning at the time. This was my refresher after I hadn't played in a long time. You could say they progressively got better up there to down there. But yeah, it's a really quick, easy to learn game, and it's kind of fun, especially if you're into animals. I like it. I can see why it became Game of the Year, and definitely is fun to play through, and works good at multiple player counts. I don't think I played it at 2 players, but I played solo and I played 3 and 4 and enjoyed it in all cases. It's a really cool game though, and if you're into the theme, you're going to like it even more. If you're a nature lover, you're going to like it, and it's, as I said, quick, easy to learn, easy to teach, and you may play one game where you're still trying to figure it out, but after your first game, you've got an idea on how the scoring works, and you know what to look for. It's a pretty good family game. My wife picked it up pretty good, and she doesn't really play a lot of games, so that's a good thing. And just a lot of fun to play. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for our look at Cascadia. If it's something that interests you, definitely check it out. Hope I helped you decide on that. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.